Hello, and welcome to Hibert Performance on a Tech Tuesday. Today we wanted to introduce how to operate the Alien Tech Kess3, how to read a vehicle via OBD with it, and how the process works. Wait. I forgot. What should I say? This is stress-free. Now you have it stress-free. Now go around from me. Okay, good. In the Hibert. So, here on the display is the Alien interface, with which you read out the core fields once. Now I've brought the leg. Okay, yes. Look at this. In the next videos I will consider, he always has this bail, but I'll show you that once. When you follow a car reading, it goes as follows into the vehicle selection. Here is the selection of what kind of car you have. If you now simply have a VW Polo connected, and we will now just do a symbolic VW Polo reading process. However, so we do Volkswagen. Then we search for Polo. I always do it faster, I do it with the mother. So if you enter quickly one after the other, then you have Polo. Then we have a vehicle after 2001. Then you can still choose here whether you want to read an ECU or TCU. But with these, there's only ECU, that's why only ECU is listed. But if you were to take a BMW, for example, but we're not doing that now, no, we'll leave it. Then you could select here. If that's too stressful for you and too much, then you can still say, okay, petrol or diesel. If we choose diesel, then the selection is much smaller. You can also select the engine code. You can choose which engine control unit here, but I don't click around that much. I usually always like Volkswagen, then Polo. And then I usually find it myself, so I don't really bother. Does the million matter here early? Or, well, petrol or this one? We are now looking for the right piece. I know it's an EDC 15P. He would have said right away if you evaluated it incorrectly, but we'll do it once. In the end, it doesn't really matter which engine code you choose here. Ultimately, only the protocol number counts. So, when the correct protocol is selected, you will also read the car correctly. So that's why we're starting now. We have an ATD. Let's take it out here. Here at the bottom is bench again, and then at the bottom is boot again. And then you can click on which variant you want to use to read it out. If you need any information about it, you can click here and then you'll get this. An instruction. Where and how you need to do it, where to connect now. This would now be the instruction for bench. Let's do it like this and then continue on continue. Then it asks you if you want to read it again or not. In that case, no, we've already looked at it and read it to the protocol. Always try to read the ID regardless of the tool. Please do this also with an auto tuner or with a Magic Motorsport Flex. Then we do 80, then continue. Then you just need to follow what it says here. Okay, then we need to check, is the battery ignition on? Ignition is on, then okay. Then you follow the instructions, for example. Then he asks right away. Ignition off, ignition on, ignition off, ignition on. He usually asks everything twice. And afterwards, yes, that's how it would look if you have successfully read an ID. You then have all the vehicle data. You can then save it in the location you want. He now asks, do you want to save it? Then you do ID, save it. I've already done it, as you can see. And then that would be done. We will now show once more how to write an ECU, because we have to do that anyway now. Accordingly, we will write it now. Reading would be just like ID. You simply follow what it says. You also need to turn the ignition off and on, off and on. That's always the case with Kess. For whatever reason, no tool needs that except Kess. Although sometimes AutoTuner does too. But only with very old control units. So, then writing. We want the ED5, the one we want to write, open. Mr. Cameraman, could you please turn the ignition off and on in a moment? We want to write only a part, or write everything. Then it says to write a part, then I press OK, and proceed. OK. So, ignition only. Ideally, you get someone to help you with this, as it can take a few tries, sometimes it takes a while. Ignition off. Okay. So he just said, sorry that I'm so fast. He just asked, "Are you sure your charger is connected to the car?" Yes. So, ignition on. Now it takes a little while again. Soon we'll probably have to turn it off and on again. He read the ID. Again, he always does that once more, just to be safe. You just need to click OK. Do you really want to write this file? Okay. Are you sure? If the file is incorrect, it could be that your control unit gets damaged. You need to confirm that as well. Then turn off the ignition. Offy, okay? Then he tells you again, he reminds you 3 more times to turn on the ignition, and then you press OK. He is flashing now. This is the preparation phase. And now he is actually programming. Once we reach 100%, the flash program is complete. I hope this was informative enough for you. I personally find a Kess3 very, very easy to operate, but that's the case with all of them. Meaning all the tools I have introduced so far, but I would personally claim that the Kess3 might even be the most user-friendly tool, because you really can hardly do anything wrong here. It's a bit annoying with the turning on and off, but yes. Overall, where do I see the advantage in the Kess3? For me, Kess3 is a significant market leader when it comes to older cars. EDC 15, ME 7. And so on. It does these things in its sleep. What was that? Oh, I see. Someone followed. Kess3 is a market leader for older cars, and for me, an essential component if you want to switch to the truck sector, in boats, bikes, and so on. Kess3 is an all-rounder for all vehicles, not just for cars, but also for trucks, and accordingly, Kess3 is a market leader. I think when it comes to everything like this, if you wanted to handle all vehicles. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any suggestions, write them in the comments. Toodaloo. So, now let's go ahead and run Jan's file. He definitely didn't mess up as much as I did. The thing shuts off.